Do you want to make sure that your application not getting slower when you are doing changes? Or if you want to measure performance improvements, then you need to do benchmarks. In this video, I will show you how to work with benchmarks and .NET. Welcome to another video. Today I will talk about something that can be relevant for all .NET developers. I will talk about benchmarks. And that is a good thing to measure so that your application or libraries not getting slower. Or if you're working with performance improvements, you want to make sure that you actually do performance improvements. So benchmarks is a good way to measure that. And to do that, we will use an open source project called benchmarks.net. All information about benchmark.net can be found on benchmark.net.org. And here we have all documentation, all the features and everything you can use. In this video, I will show you just how to get started. I recommend you to take a look at this website. Here you also find the link to the source code that are on GitHub because this is an open source project. Okay, so let's dive into Visual Studio and I will show you how to use benchmark.net. So here I already created a new solution with two projects, one for the benchmark and one for the library that I want to do benchmarks for. So this library just contains a search service that searching for cities, and the cities are from a JSON file that I import in the benchmark project. So this search service will take the actual JSON as input and what we want to search for. And in the benchmark tests, I have added the NuGet package called benchmark.net, and that is what enables us to do benchmarks. So if you go here to my program.cs, I have created a new class called search benchmark and added the attribute simple job that is perfect for getting started with benchmarks with. So first I created a setup method, and the setup method is something that will run before all benchmark to set it up. And in this case, I read the JSON file from disk in this method. Then we have the program class that used the benchmark runner to execute this benchmark. So what we need to do now is to go and create our first benchmark. And for that, we need a method. So we can create one called search. Like this, and because we want to test the search method. So we add the attribute benchmark to it, and then we can go and call the method search in the search service. And I've already created an instance of the search service. So we do search service.search. We pass the JSON and we want to search for Bor that my city Borlänge starts with. Okay, so now we can go and run this, and we need to make sure that we have selected the release configuration and that we run this without the debugger attached. So we go here to debug and start without the debugging. And now we can see that the benchmarks are running. Okay, so now we have a result here, and we have a mean value, we have a standard deviation. And those numbers doesn't really say something because we need to compare it with something. So let's go and do some changes. So in this case, I recommend you to save the old method so we can compare them side by side. So right now we create a copy of this, and instead of newtonsoft.json, we will use system text to parse the JSON file. So system text.json serializer, and it will be deserialize like this, and then we rename this method to system text search system text. So if this perform better, we can delete this and rename this to just search. So now we go and add a new benchmark that runs this method. So we copy this one and we say search system text, And we rename this method to that, and now we can run and see what result we will get. Okay, now we have a new result, and now we have both those methods side by side. So as you can see, system text was much faster in this case compared to Newtonsoft JSON. So I guess we want to keep that code, but we should also benchmark memory usage and the allocation of memory. So we go back here to program, and instead of simple job, we change to memory diagnoser, and then we can run this again. So now the benchmark has completed and we have a new result. And as you can see, we still have this timing here, but we have new columns for Gen 0, Gen 1, Gen 2, and allocated. And this is about garbage collection, and we can see the values here are much better from the system text options, and the same for the amount of allocated memory. It's more than half with the system text. So yeah, we should keep that one. Okay, so if we want to have a report for this that we can save, or we can parse it, or whatever you want to do with it, there are also reports generated. So if we go to the bin folder, we will find them. So we go here, bin, release, .NET 7, and then we can search for report. And here we have a HTML report, we have CSV, we have Markdown. So we can open the HTML one. And it will look like this. It's more or less the same as we have in the terminal, but we can upload it and save it. For example, as you can see, these are running on .NET 7, the latest version of .NET. And if you still are on .NET 6 or maybe some other .NET version, and you want to be sure that your applications still are fast on .NET 7, you can use benchmarks to compare the performance. And that is really easy. So I will show you how to do that. So the first thing we need to do is to go to the library, and we will add .NET 6 here as a target framework. We will do the same on the benchmark project. And then we go back here to program.cs, and we change back to SimpleJob, because SimpleJob can take a runtime moniker argument. So we specify runtime moniker .NET 6.0, and we copy that one and say .NET 7. Okay, and now we can run this again. And here we have the result, and we have both for .NET 6 and .NET 7. And as you can see, .NET 7 performs better both with Newtonsoft.json and with system text. And that means that it's probably safe, at least from a performance perspective, to go and update our library to .NET 7. Do you like this video? Please press the like button and subscribe to my channel. I promise there will be more videos about .NET. See you next time. Bye bye.